5 stages. The first stage is aeration. I will elaborate on that later. Second one is coagulation or flocculation. The third one is sedimentation. While the fifth one is filtration, you filter the water. Then, the fourth one is filtration of it. Then the fifth one is chlorination, an adjustment of pH. Chlorination and an adjustment of pH. Now, let me give you an overview of what actually happens. When you get water from a dam or from anywhere or from any source, we assume the water is not pure because there will be natural water, and most natural water are impure. Even rainwater that seems to be the purest among them are not that pure, because as they are falling on your roof, there are some impurities already on your roof, so they are not that pure. But you can still purify this water and make them available in the homes of people that are connected to the water corporation. So the first thing is this: you get the water, you expose it to the atmosphere, you expose it to air, you expose it to oxygen. That is called aeration. You expose it to air. What that does is to aerate the water and removes bad odor inside the water. You are removing bad odor and color from the water by aeration. Any bacteria that is causing odor will be oxidized by the air. Are we together? So it will be oxidized by the air, then that will be aeration. Now, after the process of aeration, that is after you have exposed it to the air for some time, the next step will be coagulation. Now, the next step will be coagulation. Coagulation is carried out by using alum. Remember, alums are double salt. Don't forget that. It's carried out by using alum. You put alum in the water. What alum does is, any suspended particles inside the water, there are some particles that are inside the water like dust particles. They are very, very tiny. You know when water is not pure, when water is brown, it contains some impurities that are not suspending, that are not settling down. You can use alum to make all those impurities come together, and so when they are heavy enough, they will settle down. Is that okay? All those impurities that doesn't calm down, that does not rest a little, they just flow about inside the water and give the water colors. You can usually remove them by coagulation. That's the process where suspended particles are removed. And what you use to do that? You use alum. Example of alum, you already know that under salt, like potash alum is on the screen, like sodium aluminium, sodium dioxoaluminate 3. It's also a double salt. So they are alums. When you put the alum inside the water, all the suspended particles that are very tiny, that could not settle down, you put the alum inside. You calculate the amount. As a chemist, you can't just pour alum inside water because it's going to affect the taste. So you find the amount that will not affect the taste and put it inside. So when the alum is inside the water, it will make all the suspended particles to clump together, to cluster together. So when they cluster together, their weight will become higher. So they will now settle down. They will now do what? They will now calm down. So when they calm down, the water will now become clear. Is that okay? Now, that process of settling down, that process of those particles that are suspended before now settling down, we call that sedimentation. We call it sedimentation. Is that okay? So when you add alum, suspended particles will clump together. They will clump together, then they will now settle down. So that clumping together can call it coagulation or flocculation. So, but when you use alum to cause the clumping together, that's coagulation. Sometimes you can agitate, that is, you can shake. When you shake the water like this, sometimes they can settle down. When you agitate, they can clump together and settle down. That one is flocculation. So coagulation is a chemical process, while flocculation is a physical change. Don't forget that. So that process of particles clumping together is called coagulation. What you use to cause the coagulation, is the alums, right? You also call them coagulants. What do I call it? Coagulants. So coagulant is used for causing coagulation, and this alum is used as alums are used as coagulants. So the next step is sedimentation. After you have caused coagulation, those suspended particles will settle down at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. So any suspended particle that is there will no longer be inside the water. It will settle down under the tank. So it will be passed out. There's a place to, you open that place, then it will be passed out as a sludge. I said sludge. It's passed out as a sludge. This sludge. So that is what we mean by sedimentation. Sedimentation happens after coagulation. Now, when you have removed suspended particles now, there may still be some other fine particles that are still present in the water. These fine particles may not sediment with those ones that were passed out. So you have to remove those fine particles by filtration. Now the filtration we do in water corporation or in the industry is not like the one we do in the lab where we use filter paper. Their own kind of filter paper is not a paper. They use something we call sand bed. What do I call it? Sand bed. That sand bed is made by packing fine sand inside sack, like a Dangote cement sack. They will pack sand inside sack, many sacks. Then they will pack gravel. Those are higher particle size sand. So they pack gravel also inside inside the what do you call it now? Inside the sack. So they shall make stones of different sizes inside pack. Then they will put it inside the tank. So it is called filtration bed or sand bed, because you use sand to make the bed. It's called sand bed. So instead of using filter paper, what you use is a sand bed in causing filtration, in removing fine particles that did not undergo sedimentation. So that filter bed, I told you, is also known as what? Sand bed. So it contains sand particles of different sizes. So that's the purpose of filtration. Remember, the first step is aeration, where you expose the particles to air so that bacteria that are causing odor will be oxidized and some colors can also be removed. Then next you are going to add a coagulant, that is alum. So coagulant will cause coagulation of suspended particles. It will make them come together and then they will settle down. That's sedimentation. When they settle down, you pass them away as sludge. there may still be some suspended fine particles. Fine means they are very small. Then you are going to pass them through a filter bed. What are filter bed made of? They are made of sand, right? So you call them sand bed or filter bed. Finally, your water now is clean. Your water is pure. No fine particle inside. No odor there. No color there. You have already done all those things. But there is still something to be done. If you pass that kind of water to the homes of people, you can kill people, you can poison people, and you'll be jailed for that. That's why we have professionals in the field. Now, when you have aerated the water, you have caused coagulation, you have done coagulation, you have done sedimentation, and you have done filtration. The next thing you do is you want to chlorinate the water. You want to add chlorine to the water. Now, the purpose of adding chlorine to the water is this. When you add chlorine to the water, chlorine will kill the germs inside water. Any living thing inside that water will die. That's the purpose of chlorination. And you cannot pump water to the house that is containing bacteria or containing germs or containing anything. That's the purpose of chlorination. Chlorination is also called disinfection. You want to disinfect the water. You want to make sure that any living thing, any bacteria inside that water, any fungi inside that water is killed, and it is chlorine that does the job. In next step, I'll tell you why chlorine was able to do that when I teach halogen. So it is chlorine that does that job. In the water corporation, we have what we use for chlorinating is called HTH. HTH is high test hypochlorite. That's HTH. So it's the one that contains the chlorine that is normally used for killing germs. Are we together? So the purpose of chlorine is to kill germs. Don't forget, or to disinfect the water. Now, the way the chlorine is added is that there will be some excess chlorine inside that water, that after killing the germs, it will still remain inside the water, so that when you fetch water and there's bacteria inside your bucket, that remaining chlorine or residual chlorine, you call it residual chlorine, will still enter the bucket and kill any germ that is inside the bucket and use it to collect the water. So that is chlorination. Now, after chlorination, the water will become acidic because chlorine inside water is acidic. The water will become acidic. The pH of the water will be less than 7. And a normal pure water should have a pH of 7. In fact, the recommended pH by the WHO, that's World Health Organization, for water is between 7.6 and 8.4. So you are going to make sure that the water is not too acidic and the water is not too alkaline. It's not too basic. So you have to make sure that it falls within the range of a acceptable pH given to us by WHO. And what is the range? The range is between 7.6 to 8.4. That's the range that a normal pure water should have. So how do we adjust the pH? to conform to WHO standard. Remember that by addition of chlorine, we have killed the germ, but it has also made the water to become acidic. So to bring the pH from acidity to neutral, we have to add some alkaline. You know that it is alkali plus acid that give you a neutral solution that you call neutralization. So it is when you add that alkali, calculated amount of the alkali, that you are going to get a pH that is closer to the standard given to us by WHO. And the alkali that you use is called calcium hydroxide. Some people call it slaked lime, or calcium hydroxide. Pardon me, it should be CaOH2. So here should be 2. Sorry about that. So here should be 2. CaOH2. That's calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. So it's the one we add to water after we have chlorinated it to make sure that the water did not go beyond or below the WHO standard for pure water. So remember that we said chlorination is to kill germs. Now slaked lime is used in water to adjust the pH, to WHO standard. So it neutralizes the excess acidity in the water. What causes the acidity is addition of chlorine. So when you add calcium hydroxide, which is an alkali, it's going to neutralize the acidity. So remember that you must add the lime in a calculated amount. You cannot just add the lime anyhow. In number 1, if you add too much lime, the pH will be above 8.4. It will go beyond the acceptable standard. Number 2, if you add too much lime, the water will become hard because there will be excess calcium ion in the water, which will be wasting soap. That's called hardness of water. Now, when you have added the calculated amount of chlorine, we have added the calculated amount of chlorine to water. Amount of slaked lime to water, and the acidity has been neutralized. Now, the water is ready for drinking. You can pass the water to homes, but based on wherever you live, some companies normally put fluorine or fluoride into their water to prevent tooth decay. Fluorine is there to prevent tooth decay. They put the fluoride in terms of sodium fluoride to prevent tooth decay. Then iodine can also be added to prevent goiter. But mind you, it's not a general thing. It depends on what you want to do. You can add fluorine or iodine, or you may not add it. But most companies normally add fluorine, and the purpose is to prevent tooth decay. If you see your toothpaste also, you will see fluoridated toothpaste. Fluorine prevents decay of tooth. Then iodine also can be added to prevent goiter. So after you have done all these things, after you have purified, after you have added fluorine and iodine, then the purified water now is passed to the reservoir, where it is pumped to homes and offices and businesses. So depending on whether you are paying the government for water or not. So these are the 5 stages. Now, as a chemist and as a science student, you have seen why it is a very wicked thing to open water down and allow that water to be wasting, because a lot of money actually goes into purification of this water. That's why you cannot just allow your water to just be wasting anyhow. So don't forget Number 1 is aeration. Number 2 is coagulation or flocculation. Number 3 is what now remind me. Number 3 is sedimentation. Number 4 is chlorination. Number 5 is number 4 is filtration. Number 5 is chlorination and pH adjustment. Those are the 5 steps that is normally carried out when treating pure water for town supplies. Now, you must be able to know these 5 steps and state them in that order. In the exam, you are going to be asked to state the 5 steps, and in fact, you might be told to identify the functions of sand in water treatment, sand bed, one of calcium oxide in water treatment. You are able to identify the function of chlorine in water treatment. So don't forget, chlorine is used for killing germs or for disinfection. Sand bed is used in filtration. Slake lime is used in controlling the pH of the water. So this is where we are going to stop this edition of the class. Tomorrow there will be another class where we're talking about hardness of water. What makes water hard and non, like that. God bless you. We are going to meet tomorrow. I will drop some questions to evaluate your understanding of these concepts. God bless you real good.